We're live for the 24th time, and it feels kind of crazy. We actually just reached our 1-year anniversary right there at the end of April from our very first video last year when we were all stuck at home. So today we are super excited because both I, Kristen Elliott, and Joy will be in this live video together.
Hello.
With no masks because we are both fully vaccinated past our 14 days, and this will be the first time that we are working together on this, and we're excited. So thank you for joining us today for episode number 24 of Quarantine Kitchen. And I'm super excited about this topic because it's not every day that we come across something like this in our inventory at the food bank. So we're a food bank. We take what we get from our donation, our donors, from people in the community, and we just happen to receive a large donation of frozen, uncooked roti or chapati. Depending on where it comes from, it can be referred to by different names. So this is the product that we're working with today. So it is frozen, it is uncooked, and it looks like a tortilla. So that is how we're going to talk about it today, to share some non-traditional ways to use this frozen roti product. So within the package, you have 2 individual packages of 18 count roti in each package. So you get 36 total in one package. For our partners, this is really convenient for you because this package isn't as big as some of the bulk products that we get sometimes. And if you need to, you can open the package and separate the individual packages. So you can pass out an 18 count instead of a whole package of 36 count to the people that you're serving. So keep that in mind. So inside, this is what it looks like when it is raw. It's just a rolled out piece of dough. Roti is made with whole wheat flour. So this is a whole grain product, and we're going to talk to you about how much we love whole grains. Yes. So we love this because it's whole grain. So the way that you prepare this, there's a couple of methods that you can do this at home. Traditionally, it's cooked on a tava. It can be spelled T-A-V-A or T-A-W-A, and that's basically a flat cast iron grill. So we're using our regular cast iron, but the tava is flat, so it's just completely flat across the top. The dough is prepared, it's allowed to rest. It's usually just wheat flour and water and maybe a little bit of salt, so it's very basic. You allow it to rest, you divide it into smaller portions, and then you roll it out like these, like such. And then you cook them on the very hot cast iron. So with these, I did some testing to see if they needed to be straight out of the freezer or if they could sit for just a few minutes, and I wanted to know if they were going to work really well. So all of the cases, it's worked very well. So I'm going to show you really quickly how to prepare them.
And these have been in the out on the counter for a little while, right?
Yeah, for like 20 minutes or something like that. So, and they're still really holding their texture together. They're not soggy. Sometimes with things out of the freezer, they'll turn soggy. So this is actually holding up really well. So make sure that your cast iron is hot. It's on a medium high-ish. The package says about 400 degrees if you're able to define that. So you're just going to put it flat into your pan. You want to hear it sizzle just a little bit. You're just going to pat, 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 and give it like 30 seconds to a minute. And you're going to check it just like you would with a tortilla if you were heating that up. So this is raw, unlike a tortilla, a store-bought tortilla, that is. So you want it to look brown like it does with a tortilla. Except this does something a little special, and I'm really hoping that it works on the first try here. The cool thing about roti is that it will puff up like a pillow, and there'll be a space in between where the air sort of just puffs it up.
You can kind of see it starting
to puff a little bit.
You can see it.
A little bit of puffing happening. I think I figured out the like special way to make this puff up just for this particular product. It takes 3 flips. So this is our first flip. I mean, this is our first side. Let's see. Okay, so it's brown. Whoops. Got away from me. That's beautiful.
Looks just like a tortilla.
It does. It looks and it tastes exactly like a tortilla. Something from a nutritional standpoint that's cool is that this roti has less salt in it than a store-bought generic whole grain tortilla. So if you are paying attention to your salt, this is a good option. This is also, you get 2 grams of fiber per 1 roti. Okay. And less salt. So let's see what this other side looks like. Let's see. I got it. Okay.
Well done.
Okay. Are you gonna puff? Are you gonna do it?
Oh, yep. I think it's going to.
It's doing it. But you can't see it on the screen. It's puffing. Can y'all see how much it's starting to pillow up? You can't. I'm sorry. That's uneventful from the camera. It's a little bit doing it.
There we go. You
So,
see it now?
Yeah, there it goes. It's starting to puff up. So that's what it's supposed to do. If it doesn't do that, you can still eat it and nothing will be different about it. But that is how it's supposed to puff up.
We're just nerds and we think it's fun when food does fun things.
Yes, especially if you're not expecting it, which we were expecting it. We did our research. So this is how it's supposed to look. It may puff the entire circumference where you have a pillow. If not, totally fine. Make sure you don't burn it. Like that one is done. That is done.
Gorgeous.
And that is very simply how you prepare it. So for these, I actually prepared some yesterday. I put them in the refrigerator to see how they would turn out leftover. And I put them in the microwave for about a minute. And so these are a little bit crispier on the edges, but it's going to give you a really good mouth texture. They may not roll as easy. Well, actually, let me take that back. The ones on the bottom here are feeling softer. So actually, if you cover up the plate whenever you microwave it, just for like 30 seconds to a minute, they're going to get softer like this, and then you can make some of the other fun things that we're going to talk about. So this is the one that was on the top, and you can see it's not bending as easy. It's a little more crunchy.
But you cooked that one a little bit longer.
I did. That one did cook. You can see, I don't know if you can see, but do you see how there's like this wrinkle along the edge? This one puffed up all the way when I cooked it. So you can see where it sort of subsided and went back down. So that is how you cook it from frozen. Leave it out on the counter for a little bit if you want to, but it works really well straight from the freezer. And if you leave it out, it's fine. Okay, so I wanted to show you the traditional way that people from India eat this food. So I would like to say that it is prepared, it can be prepared differently or even referenced by a different name, depending on which part of India. Okay. So, well, okay, this isn't going to show very well because my camera isn't. Actually, can we bring that camera over here just so I can hopefully do this justice? So with the, yeah. So, and a lot of cultures, people eat with their hands. And that is the way that you do it. You use one hand for eating and you use the other hand for serving yourself more food from a family style standpoint. So there's a good way and a not good way to eat with your hands. And so I've got to have the privilege of seeing my mother-in-law eat with her hands a lot, and I tried it myself many times, and it just doesn't turn out the same way for me. And that's because I don't do it all the time. I didn't grow up eating it that way. So with the roti, it's often served on the side, and you use it as a spoon. So you're going to use one hand to rip off some roti. And so I'm going to struggle a little bit because this isn't how I am used to. There we go. So you use your other fingers to pull it off. You get one piece of roti, and then you're going to fold it up in a way that you can use it as like a scoop. So this is not a beautiful way to do it, but so you're going to use your scoop to scoop your curry or your rice or your lentils or your vegetables, and you're going to use only the tip of your fingers. That's the key point, is your whole hand doesn't get dirty. You also can't use your other hand, that's why I have it behind my back. So you're just going to scoop a little bit. You're going to get a really good bite, just like so. Mm-hmm.
And it smells delicious. I know y'all can't smell what it smells like with this cooked curry here, but it smells really delicious.
So that is very basic, simple way that you traditionally eat this. Now, if you are home, you can do this and rip it into pieces first if you want to. Oh, look, you can see the pocket on the inside of it. That was a good one. And you can use a spoon and scoop it if you're not trying to be traditional and pay homage to the culture. But if you want to try something new, you can try to eat it with one hand and rip with one hand. And that is the traditional way. So we're hoping that we can get this roti product into the hands of our partners who serve people who eat this as their cultural food. So our multicultural community knows how to eat this. So we wanted to make sure that we highlighted some non-traditional ways to eat it, because it's going to land in many different households and styles. So wanted to show you this, and then we're going to move on and show you just a couple of other ways that you can use it. And I will say that it's basically exactly like a tortilla, and that's how we're going to talk about it.
Quick question before we move on to the non-traditional ways to eat it. What are some of the countries that where this is a traditional food?
Yes.
You mentioned India, but I know there are others, right?
So there's some countries in the Caribbean that eat roti, but it doesn't look like this kind, because this is like more tortilla style with one pocket and one layer. But it can also be multi-layered, kind of like a phyllo dough. And that is similar in like Caribbean culture. If you get a roti from a Jamaican restaurant or Haitian, it will be like a big pocket, kind of like a burrito, and it'll be stuffed with meat or potatoes and spices. And then you would eat it like a burrito. Or for that one, you can unfold it and you can eat it exactly the way I did here, where you rip off a piece of the exterior roti and then eat the filling. Or you can knife and fork it. That's totally acceptable as well. But we're focusing on the Indian culture, an example today, because the one that we currently have is most similar to that. Mm-hmm. But even across India, it can be made thicker. It can be cooked inside of a tandoor oven. So it's just different. It's just so different to be able to pinpoint all of the places that eat roti, because it's across the world. Thanks for asking.
You're welcome.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to let Joy hop in here.
Okay, and I'm going to move this camera right over here so we can make ourselves a little quesadilla, which is always a lot of fun. I really love quesadillas. This is how I got through college, is pretty much just making myself a lot of quesadillas. So I'm going to start with an already cooked roti, just to save time. I could start with a raw roti, flip it a couple of times, and then be ready to go. But just to keep things easy on myself, we're going to start with the cooked roti. And I've got some shredded Mexican style cheese. This is a reduced fat blend, because cheese can contain a lot of salt and saturated fat. So if reduced fat is available, I like to try and use that. And so what we're going to do is just sprinkle a little bit of cheese over the roti or the tortilla, whatever you're using here. We're going to let this get nice and melty. And essentially the job of the cheese in this quesadilla is to make it stick together and hold everything in place. Oh, it's like puffing up again. That's so fun.
Who knew?
Yeah.
It might be more like a tostada than a quesadilla, but whatever, that's good too.
I'm fine with that. I am totally fine with that. So we're just gonna let the cheese get nice and melty. There we go. I'm gonna turn this oven down a tiny bit.
In case.
And then what we do is Kristen has already prepared our filling, which is essentially some beans and corn with a Mexican tomato-based sauce. And we're just going to sprinkle a little bit of that in the middle. Sometimes I just do like straight up black beans from the can. And that's also super, super simple. So I'm only putting it towards the inside. You can see the outside. We're leaving that kind of bare, and that's because we want the cheese to stick to itself and make this work the way it's supposed to. So then all we do is flip it over. Let's see if I can make this happen. There we go. Oh, and I let it get a little bit too brown.
That's okay. We know you guys who like it to be a little extra crispy.
Yep. And there we go. That's our quesadilla.
Very simple, straightforward.
Super simple. It doesn't get any much.
You can see the cheese on the inside of it.
Yeah, that's a nice thick one. I put a lot of beans in there.
Yeah.
I always do that. I just have a tendency to overfill burritos and all the things.
That happens to everyone.
Okay. Next off, this is a really good one for kids, actually. So you can call this a little breakfast burrito. You can call this, sometimes we call it banana sushi. But essentially, grab one of my little cooked rotis here. All we're going to do for this one is I've got a little peanut butter. You could use any kind of nut butter that you wanted to use. And we're just going to spread it on our tortilla. And again, this is something that really easy for kids to do by themselves. Don't necessarily need adult supervision to do this. All right. And then we'll get a banana. This one is pretty ripe at this point, which I think is fine for this kind of application. And we'll just peel it and put it right in the middle like that. And then if we want to, you can put some spices in there, and sometimes it's fun to put a little cinnamon. I love some cinnamon. So we'll sprinkle a little ground cinnamon on there. And next is we're just gonna roll it up. So I'm starting with the banana a little bit closer to me, and I just roll from me and away. And there we go. And the peanut butter will make it stick together. And I try and keep the seam facing down like that. And then it's ready to go. And then you can just eat it like this. You can make up a whole bunch of these and then have them ready to go in the morning. Or, and this is a fun thing too, you can cut it into slices like this. And have it be kind of like sushi. You can see how it kind of in pieces kind of look like sushi if you use your imagination a little bit. So,
yeah, it has timed out for 1 second. It should be back there.
Okay, we're back. Great. Yeah, so here's our banana sushi, which is super simple and easy and kid-friendly meal that you can do with your roti. Okay, and then there was one last one that is currently in the oven. We'll see if it's done yet. Kristen, would you mind taking a peek and see if our surprise?
I'm peeking. It's too tall for me.
Essentially, I just made some little egg cups in a muffin tin. So the idea is you take an uncooked roti and you fill it inside a muffin cup. And then you can put some veggies in there if you want to, and then some whipped up eggs. We pour those inside and then bake it until the eggs are about set.
So our oven went off in the process of it. So they're not done, but they're very cute.
Yeah, they don't look that beautiful.
They're cute though, like as once they would be final.
Yeah.
Finally done. Should we show our friends?
Yeah, we can show this, I think. So this is what it looks like. Not completely done because we're having some electrical issues here.
They're a little soupy, but isn't that a cute little individual serving for breakfast? You just fold up the roti, like you can use a tortilla, same way.
Same way.
Fold it up in there, and then you pour your egg mixture and your sauteed veggies in, and then you bake it.
Yep, and it doesn't get much simpler than that. We just baked it at 350, and I would say probably 20 minutes or so. We don't know because our oven turned off. But just thought that was another quick and easy way that you could use this roti. And we've given you a lot of options here. You could do it the traditional way. You could eat it as, you can turn it into a tortilla. You can do it breakfast, little mini quiche, or our fun banana sushi roll up. So that is our presentation of our frozen roti product. I hope that you all will try it, give it a shot. And for those of y'all who serve clientele that come from maybe India or Malaysia, Southeast Asia, I hope that you will consider picking some of these up from the food bank and making them available to your clientele. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time on Quarantine Kitchen. Take care.